Hey everyone, Ipega Pg here, representing those who are 40 and up who love their tech. And it's no secret that I love to game. I've been gaming for a very long time, and the way that gaming has progressed over the years, it's just been incredible. It's awesome that you can use your smartphone to game on and to install emulators and play some of your favorite old school games on your smartphone. Now, one of the biggest dilemmas that I've had is looking for the perfect controller. Now, that is pretty much impossible. It's pretty much impossible because there's no controller that will do everything that you wanted to do. Now, of course, they're all similar. You can change directions, press your buttons, start and select. They're all gonna have similar or the same features. But to find the one that can give you the most functionality, that's kind of difficult. Kind of like trying to find the perfect backpack or the perfect stylus. It's really hard to find. And you might spend a whole lot of money trying to find that perfect one. And trying to look at reviews, other people's reviews for certain devices and things, you can't depend on reviews a lot, because a lot of people sometimes will just say that it's good in order for you to buy it because they may be in cohorts with the company to make profits from influencing you to get that product. I'm not that type of person because, hey, I got a job already. I'm cool with what I make. So I just spend money on things that I think is going to do me well. And as you can see, I spent a lot of money on some controllers. Just trying to find the right one, it's kind of hard. So let me go through these controllers that I have to let you know my take on the ones that I've bought so far. And hopefully this is it, because I'm tired of buying them. And letting you know the pros and cons of each of these controllers. I'm going to start with these two controllers here, because these two controllers are pretty much the same controller. Actually, they are the same controller. They're just in different colors. These are made by a company called 8-Bit Dough. Actually, let me do this. Okay, I had to increase my zoom so I can use laser focus, because laser focus is awesome. 8-Bit Dough is a company. I'm a big fan of this company here. They make some awesome controllers. I like this controller. What is it called? Let me see if I can find the name. The Sf30 Pro 2 Bluetooth gamepad. Oh, it tells you the different modes that you can get on the pad. So you can actually use this with a switch. You can use it in D input, so you can use it with PC. Exit input is mainly for PC, and use it with a Mac OS. I think D input you can use with Android, if I'm not mistaken. But I like this controller, number one, because it's the thinnest controller out of all the controllers that I have. So it easily fits in your pocket. Nice and wide. Can use the buttons pretty well. The analog sticks are kind of small, so that's a small negative. Smaller than most analog sticks on controllers. The placement of the shoulder buttons, I feel a little funny, but I like it because it's small. It's a little. It'll take a little getting used to using the buttons, but it felt pretty good. Nice and clicky, and the analog sticks click as well for our L3 and R3. So nice control, and you can charge it by USB Type-C. So that's what I really like about this, how sleek and thin it is. The next controller or controllers will be these two, because these two are basically the same controller as well. This one made also by 8-Bit Dough. This is the Sf30 Pro, and this one here, through the indentation, is the Sn30 Pro. The difference between the two, this was made in, how can I put it? Okay, I know how to put it. The SF stands for Super Famicom, which is the Japanese Super Nintendo. And so the color scheme is of that particular system from Japan. So on the Super Famicom, the buttons were colored and gray, and the outside of the system is gray. So this was made like the Super Famicom. And this one is made like the Super Nintendo, where all the colors or the button colors are the same. I have another one actually. Let me try to find that other controller to show you a better representation of. Oh no, that's it. So this one was supposed to be made like the Super Nintendo, even though it's not of the color of the system. This is still supposed to be made like the Super Nintendo because that's what the SN stands for. SN stands for Super Nintendo. But again, both controllers are pretty much the same, just different colors. What I like about this one, it's thicker than the SN30, but even though it's thicker, it just feels much better in your hand because of the thickness. Analog sticks are much bigger, and they have the indent to put your thumb, so it's much better to control. The analog sticks, D-pad is nice, stiff, so you can get precise movements. Your shoulder buttons are the way they're supposed to. L1, R1 on the top, L2, R2 on the bottom. Charges by USB, so that's a very good plus. Like I said, even though it's a little thicker, this is one of the best controllers I've ever used by any company. 8-bit though, excellent job on this controller. And by the way, they all connect via Bluetooth, and you can use them wired as well. My next controller or controllers will be these two. These two are made by different companies, mainly in China. And you know, in China, they can make up any kind of name and still be the same controller. But these are similar controllers, and what are cool about these is that they are telescopic. So depending on the size of your phone, they can fit certain size phones. This one is slightly larger than this one. So this one will fit a longer phone, which is kind of cool. But they're both telescopic, they're both Bluetooth. And starting with this one has been one of my all-time favorite controllers, telescopic controllers that I've used for a while. The Wii Controller. Really love this controller. This keeps a charge for a very long time. I believe 80 hours. You can get 80 hours of gameplay on one charge on this particular controller. Buttons are kind of small, analog sticks are really small, and they're not thick at all, made from thin plastic, so not really good at control, but it still feels good on your hand, on your thumbs. Not as good as, of course, your Sf30 or Sn30 Pro. D-pad, not the greatest, it's a little mushy. So, I mean, you still get good control, especially if you're using this for fighting games, so you get a better control out of this for fighting games. For this one, because it's stiff, probably won't get as much control with that one. So this D-pad, excellent for fighting. Not good for Pac-Man or precise movements. So like I said, good buttons. Shoulder buttons are in the right spots. Clicking, kind of loud. Don't like the loudness, but definitely love the telescopic design of this. I've had this controller for a long while. This one right here, what's the company? M1, made in China. Like I said, a little bit thicker. The shoulder buttons, this one right here, the R1 and L1, these feel more, what's that word I'm looking for? Digital, that's the word. They feel more digital. It feels as if you press lightly on it, you'll get less response, and the harder you press, more response. So these feel more digital. I like to feel the shoulder buttons, the L2 and R2. Buttons are small, just like the Wii Controller. The analog stick's slightly thicker, does have a concaveness, does have the ring around, so you can get a better feel on your thumbs. So these feel good. These are clickable. These are not. So this has an advantage for your analog sticks. D-pad, mushy as well, so great for fighting games, not really good for precise movements, but also telescopic and can fit larger phones. So finding one of these can be a task, but good luck on the task, because they do have a lot of these out on the market. Oh, what I kind of don't like about these as far as charging, uses USB type B. So I don't like this. I don't like these at all. I like the USB Type-C because you're finding that particular port on a lot of modern tech. So these are pretty old. good controllers, but they're set to show their age. The oldest controller that I have right here. Now this one, you can't find this in stores or on the internet anywhere because this is made by Ipega. I believe they made this one in 2014. This is the Ipega Pg 9025. Now if you do find one, it might cost because like I said, these are rare now in these days because they're pretty old. Now the best thing about this controller, it has a harness. You do not find a built-in harness on controllers these days. And that's awesome because a harness will allow you to fit any phone. Doesn't matter how long it is because it can stretch as long as it wants, but it will house a phone, I guess vertically, this vertical. Not this vertical, but this vertical. And that's what makes this really, really awesome because you can charge your phone and play your games and play it as long as you want. I don't know how long the battery will last in the controller, but you could say what, 4 to 5 hours maybe, because this is definitely an older controller, so it wasn't made like this one that was made afterwards that can hold a charge for up to 80 hours. That is so cool. But still, not too bad for a controller. Now this one is definitely the thickest controller that I have out of all my controllers, and you can use this on an array of different tech devices. So you can use this for PC, Android, I believe iOS, so Apple phones, and I think that's it. I believe that's it. So you got that. The analog sticks are awesome. Look how big they are. Look at the concaveness for your thumb and the ring to fit your thumb. That is pretty awesome. So it feels good. The analog feels good. Very clicky on the analogs. Not clicky like these. Not as clicky. These are loud. So if you're playing in bed and someone's sleeping next to you, they can get woken up by this sound. That is terrible. The D-pad, very stiff, but small. Definitely small. Slightly smaller than this D-pad here, just slightly. So you won't get the best precise control out of this one. But it's a little bit springy too, so you can probably pull out some good moves for fighting games. The buttons are definitely bigger than these buttons here, but not as big as these buttons here. And these are widespread too, so the button layout is pretty cool on that controller, the SF or the SN Pro. But they're still big enough to use and play. And they're not loud when you press down on them, so that's a plus for that. Now your shoulder buttons, not as traditional. So you got your L1, R1 here, but your L2, R2, check this out. Concaved on the back. Not the best placement for your L2, R2. Feels good though on your fingers. So you use your middle fingers to control those buttons. But if you're playing a fighting game, not really practical to have and use your middle finger to hit those buttons. Better for your index fingers. But still, the design is the most unique out of any controller that I've ever bought. So I do like this mainly because of the harness. And the last controller, I did have a, what do you call it? The GameSir X2. And that controller is the longest and thick, not the thickest, but it's definitely the longest. So it's not really pocketable. With that controller, that is the only controller that will allow you to use the Egg MS emulator, which allows you to play Nintendo Switch games on your Android device. That's the only controller that you can use. Decided to send that back to Amazon because I'm going to be mainly playing my games on my PC. But this controller right here is the best controller that you can get for your Android device that doesn't allow you to use the Nintendo Switch emulator. This is the Razer Kishi, and I really like this one because you can stretch it out for longer phones, and then you can collapse it like this to fit in your pocket. As soon as I get this right, kind of hard to do this sometimes. There we go. Boom. So you connect it with this plate on the back so that you can put it right in your pocket. And you already know with Razer stuff, you're already getting quality buttons and quality analog sticks. Analog sticks are nice and stiff, clickable as well. Little clicky, not as clicky and loud as these. Those take the cake. Buttons, thick, not too thin, not too small. So you can get pretty precise button presses with this. The analog stick is mushy, which was a little stiffer, but you can use this for fighting games and whatnot. The shoulder buttons are traditional, L2, R2, L1, R1, excuse me, and L2, R2. Nice and traditional, and that's it. Oh, and the best part about this particular controller, when you put this on the USB Type-C, yep, that's right, connector, you can charge this pass-through here. So if you put in your charging cord here and put your phone here, connected here, you can charge your phone while playing a game. That is awesome. This one is the only one that allows you to do that. Now, you can also, if you have the right peripherals, if you do decide to get one of these controllers, hopefully you can find a harness that you can connect onto the controller to connect your phone, as you can see right here. A little cumbersome to hold, definitely not pocketable, but it is possible to use one of these controllers by connecting the harness and connecting your phone on it to play and to charge, because it is a harness. The best one that you can get though is one that has a built-in harness. So the Ipega, best one to get for that. So again, out of all these controllers, the best one that I would recommend for anyone would be the Razer Kishi or the GameSir X2. Razer Kishi because that it collapses, but it doesn't allow you to play Nintendo Switch games. The GameSir because it allows you to play Nintendo Switch games, but not the best design. Best design goes to the Kishi. Best telescopic, the Wii. The smaller, the better. But the best overall company that makes controllers, I believe, 8-Bit Do. Hands down, best controller. This one, best 8-Bit Do controller, period, on the planet. Look how thin that is. That is so cool, plus USB-C. So that's it. I'm probably going to be looking for more controllers when hopefully newer ones and better ones come out, but that's just my take on my controllers. Good luck in your search on finding a controller, but like I said, you can't go wrong with the Kishi because you can charge and play at the same time. So if you like my video of my controllers, definitely leave that thumbs up on the bottom. Tell me about controllers that you have in the comment section that you would suggest for others to use, and hopefully maybe I'll see if I can use it and agree with what you have. So leave those comments on the bottom and let me know what you think. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Tell your friends about my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video.